Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That's another huge freaking fish.
I really never hear any rumblings of a state like Arizona being known for its incredible fishing, especially when stacked up to some of its northern neighbors. But this place, it's been stuck in my mind now for a long time, and I knew I needed to make my way back. With over half of the 48th state being classified as arid and semi-arid, this can seem like an awfully strange place if you consider yourself an angler. The knee-jerk of public perception tends to label the Grand Canyon State as just another desert. For those bold enough to follow your ears and seek out the trail less followed, you'll see that God truly enriches this mysterious land.
Wow.
Emerald green water with that.
That's pretty nice. It definitely doesn't suck.
Your eyes can feast upon thousands of miles of cold, clean, and clear water meandering through pine flats and red rocks alike. Boundless is truly the best way to describe the opportunities for anglers willing to embrace a little bit of adventure. Be it tiny trickles running out of the surrounding mountains or deep canyon rivers cutting their way through the rocky crag, there's a lot of water. Finding where to fish, that can be the easy part. Getting there, that's what separates the wheat from the chaff. Ankle-breaking angles tend to be sharper than the cactus clawing at your body, and very real danger can always be waiting around that next river bend.
Holy sh! That was a mountain lion!
So you might be wondering, is the juice really worth the squeeze? When you compare the rare native trout species holding out in their isolated drainages to the potential for monstrous non-native fish species dominating the big water, there is such a wide range of angling opportunities for any interest level.
That is such a specimen, man. Crawdad fed and absolutely good to go.
Between backpacking, truck camping, and simple day trips, I will be joined by some of my best fishy friends to hunt down the unique fly fishing experiences throughout the desert state and trying to document them all. Folks, this is going to be one entire month fly fishing Arizona. I hope you enjoy because it all starts right now. Hear that? Yep, that is another tire lost to the Forest Service roads of Arizona. Oh my gosh, so much for the morning bite. Hilariously, I was only 10 minutes away from the trailhead parking lot where I was going to start my day.
Well, you hate to see this happen, but that's what spares are for, and I got to give a huge shout out to a very kind Samaritan. There's no words to say how much I appreciate your help. If you're seeing this, you know who you are. You saved my butt here. I would have been here for hours and hours trying to figure this thing out, but now, because of you, I know how to change a spare, and yeah, hopefully we can run these mountains just a little bit longer to get to the tire shop and not run into this issue again. So, golly. Whew, what a stroke of misfortune and fortune at the same time. But this is all tidied up. Let's get to fishing.
I was fully convinced that this ill-timed monkey wrench would result in a day-ending endeavor to get this spare tire back on the truck, or at least a full parking lot at the bottom of the hill. When the gravel was home to a lone Subaru purely in the business of camping, excitement flushed back into my system as I clambered with my gear and hit the trail. I still had a chance. Well, that is, if I could make it past this vicious mud.
Hey, man. No? Okay.
The ill-behaved camp dogs were literally nipping at my heels as I started down the lightly worn path. Now, I'd never fished the system prior to landing in Arizona, but I've read extensively on what it has to offer. Given the right conditions, the potential for big fish was very much in the cards. The now speedy lizard scampering across the trail told me that the morning bite, if there was even a morning bite, might be reaching its mid-morning meltdown. But with the crawdad claws strewn across the gravel bar, I felt like I had some sort of casting chance to cross paths with a breakfast-seeking brown trout.
Oh my god, that's the freaking fish. That is the fish.
Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Don't pop off. You're a good fish. You're a really good fish. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on, you crawdad munching son of a gun. Oh, you're dogging me like a brown should. Oh, this 8-weight is getting worked. Oh my gosh, let's go. Whoa. Let's go, you're a donkey. You're a freaking donkey, boy.
Holy smokeroonies. Oh my god.
Oh, zoinks, Scoob. We got ourselves a mystery.
Well, as you have probably seen, it has been a hectic morning. Kind of a very much impromptu trip down here, and I've heard rumors and I've been looking, and I had a freaking hunch that this would be worth it, but when that tire popped, I was like, great, there goes the day, what a waste. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is an Arizona brown. This is an absolute beast.
I mean, come on, folks.
That is an absolute donkey, man. Holy smokes.
That is such a specimen, man. Crawdad fed and absolutely good to go.
I will tell you this, folks. I sure am glad I brought the new Ant 8-weight, because that thing would have taken me on a ride if that was on my 5. That was an incredible fight. That was a dog and brown. That was such a phenomenal fish. I mean, I know I don't stress too much about catching big fish, but you guys out there, you know it's fun. It's one of those things, and I knew that Arizona had them. It was just a matter of timing, water, and yeah, here we are, making it all happen. But it wouldn't have been possible without this little fly right here. So, as some of you may know, I like to come up with my own little weird fly recipes, and this little ditty right here is what I call the drift missile. It's, I don't know, it's a pretty simple fly. I'll editing mic, put this up right here, the actual recipe, the how to tie it, that whole sort of thing. I tie them in all sorts, but I've got good word that black works really well here. Seems fitting, right? But golly Jones, that was amazing, and I mean, that's, I would hate to jinx myself, but that's kind of day made. If I don't catch another fish, I'd probably be happy. So, yeah, I guess it's only one thing to do, but keep on fishing, man. Oh my God. Flat tire? Yeah, what flat tire? All of the distractions from this morning have been wiped away in a matter of minutes. I find it so dang funny how the cosmic blessing of a nice trout can douse out the smolders of anxiety threatening to make a massive fire in my mind. The sharp bite of the thorny underbrush no longer registered, and this day could be considered a massive win regardless of what else would transpire. And just because of the angler I am, superstitions did get the better of me, because I felt the strong need to save that drift missile and switch up to something fairly similar. As the afternoon moved in, I felt the open door of the morning bite close on my face. I ripped through quite a few more runs resembling that of the first without so much as a sniff from any of the resident browns. After a quick bit of rehydration, I decided to switch up my strategies instead and target the faster moving pocket water further upstream.
Oh, shoot, that was one right there. There it is, nice. Got a one-trick pony. They found the trap.
My continuous searching game of quote-unquote Marco Polo was distant at first, but following the clues that came with each blown hook set, I could hear the echoes of my rather loud polo at this next run, and I knew I needed to buckle down.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That's another huge freaking fish. Oh my gosh. Oh buddy, oh buddy, oh buddy. Oh, yes! He came out from underneath a rock and just absolutely hoovered up my fly. That is insane. What a fish. I think he's ready to get back. Well, that is yet another big brown back in the drink, and my golly gosh. I mean, does it get any better than that? That makes me so happy. I'm not a one-trick pony, I'm a two-trick pony. But that one was caught on, it's kind of a prototype fly. I don't know if I've got a tying video out for it yet. Maybe I do at this point.
I gotta apologize because I do not have a fly tying video out for this particular bug, but I did remember to at least film the pattern itself. Like every other fly tying pattern I've ever talked about, folks, do not, and I mean do not, focus on the exacts. Just understand the profile that this kind of bug is creating. All the materials used for this crawfish imitation can be interchanged with whatever you like best, but as you can see, you don't need a whole lot to make this thing swim. Starting out easy peasy, I'm gonna talk about the tail, or in this case, the antenna of the crawfish. Double up crystal flesh and rubber legs with just a touch of dubbing in between, and for the claws, I'm gonna be using 2 sections of thin black zonker strip. Once those are all locked in, it's time for the body section, and order of operations is very key here because once I get the hackle in place, I'm gonna make sure to lock in my dumbbell eyes. This is the weight needed to get that fly down, number 1, but number 2, it gives it its signature cadence when swimming. It looks like a distressed crawfish. Now to make it really buggy, I'm going to do forward wraps on both of those hackle feathers, and then right after that, follow it with some very thin wire. This adds a bit of extra strength and prevents those hackle feathers from breaking as easily. And I left myself just enough space before the eye to make yet another dubbing loop, and boom, just like that, you got some sort of Frankenstein mud bug that can catch a few fish. Okay, let's end it back creekside to past Mike to finish out this explanation.
These systems are absolutely loaded with all size of crayfish, and that's what these big browns grow off of. You know, I'm sure they eat some fish, I'm sure they eat some mice, but their 9 to 5 clock in and out is eating crawdads, and a lot of them. So again, black is the color to throw. It seems fitting when in Rome. But yeah, it's it is so awesome to see that these fish are fired up, the water's looking great, and yeah, we're really finding what we're after here. So yeah, this one might be done. So let's head up a little bit more and keep on doing this.
Satisfaction levels were at an all-time high with 2 browns of that caliber in the bag, and best believe I had plenty more opportunities as I moved upstream.
Hey, that was a fish.
Streamer fishing isn't exactly my strong suit when it comes to the silly fly fishing game, but I'm doing my best to get more and more comfortable headhunting for those aggressive fish. As of right now, setting the hook seems to be my major bottleneck, separating me from success.
Oh, stay pinned! Oh no! Maybe be a little bit more forceful next time. Gosh darn it.
While I continued to swing and miss on potential fish, the clouds were really starting to move in overhead. My once sunny mid-morning had turned into an ominous afternoon. Threat of storms were now rather high, with half a dozen river crossings to reach my truck. The canyon itself was not exactly the best place to be if a swell were to come crashing down. Cautiously, I moved upstream, but with nothing all that convincing worth wasting my time, I decided this would be the best place to pause before pushing my luck any further.
Well, our time here in the Southwest is over halfway done, and that's kind of hard to think. I mean, so far it's been so amazing, and hopefully you can kind of see why I love these places. The lens never does it justice, but hopefully you can catch just a little bit. But yeah, with this
being where it is in the video at this timestamp, I think it might be worth sitting down for a second, stopping the fishing, and saying thank you. And I hesitate to do this and include this in the whole, the whole video, because I personally really get annoyed when other content creators that I enjoy watching talk about their brand deals or go over their paid advertisement, because most of the time it seems a little disingenuous, and I just feel like it's forced upon you because, I don't know, are they really using HelloFresh? Are they really using Manscaped? I don't know. But all the folks that support File Season, from top to bottom, from getting here to actually being on the water, I can't tell you how much it means that companies and you folks out there watching are willing to gamble and take a risk on this and all that it entails. It means so much. And it's not to say that I wouldn't have done this, without all the gear, without some help from sponsors, but it certainly is made easier from the gear side of things, like Ant and Hex. They've been here from the jump, you know that. And Adventuron and Backcountry Skins and even Broder hopping on as of recently. It has made things so seamless. And on the more kind of backside, the information side, trout routes, I've used it so much down here. If not to just narrow down where I'm gonna fish, there's seamless way to just get from Trout Routes, the app, to Google Maps. It's one of those things where it makes things that much easier. And then obviously all the folks over on Patreon. I know I don't post on there as much as I should, but to make these big productions and edit while working a job, it's not easy. So I do my best with Patreon, but your support is not forgotten. It does mean the world to me that you're willing to take a gamble on old File Season. But that is more than enough. I will stop the shilling there. But if you do have any, well, I said that. If you do have any interest in the gear I'm using, I've always got the discount codes and the brands linked down below in the description. So go check them out maybe after the video. But for now, I think it is time to call Arizona a win and head east. I think it's time to hit New Mexico. So let's go.
Speedily backtracking my boot tracks on the trail, I was fully convinced of two things. One of which being that this might be the last time I get to see this amazing river, and the second being that I might catch a stray lightning bolt to the face if I did not pick up the pace.
You see that up there? That's bad news. Time to break down the rapids.
Luckily for me, I was able to ride the wind of that howling front all the way back to my truck, safe and sound. With my first move of the summer coming in just a few days, my eyes were steady on the road home, but my mind was stuck on all the packing and organizing that still needed to be done back at the ranch. The rain clouds must have followed me up north because the last few days on the ranch were rather wet. Gotta be honest, I try not to get attached to things because my life, it's always changing. Obviously, this is much easier said than done, but man, oh man, am I gonna miss this little slice of heaven here in Arizona. I bid farewell to my farm cat friends, knowing good and well I'm gonna be missing them the most. So, with nothing left to do, I saddled up and I hit the road. I had quite a bit of ground to cover before I could rest my head over the border in New Mexico. As luck would have it, my friends Tom and Shelby moved down to New Mexico a few months ago and were more than willing to take in this stray cat for a few days. While we all waited for the long weekend's fishing adventure, we had to shake out some of our shenanigans at White Sands National Park. Their pups have an affinity for breaking the land speed record across the open dunes, and no one puts the Tom in tomfoolery like, well, Tom. So we were jumping and running all around the dunes as the New Mexico sun faded in the west. We'd originally planned on heading into the Gila Wilderness to do some backpacking and fishing, but after a fair bit of discussion and weighing out our options, the group had second thoughts. New Mexico was sizing up to be a big risk, and they were quite intrigued by my stories from Arizona. Plus, a lot of the Gila wilderness and the good parts of Arizona were around the same drive time from where they lived, so this was semi-last minute, yes, but it was still a solid plan. We decided to forego our backpacks for the weekend and go truck camping instead. With Memorial Day weekend now at our doorstep, we decided to get an early start as to avoid the inevitable crowds. It was pedaled down through the open desert until the White Mountains started to pop up through the sagebrush flats. I find that slow changes in the scenery help to keep the eyes fresh and the mind intrigued on longer drives like this, because before I knew it, I was rolling up to camp.
Holy Toledo. This is a camp spot. Good Lord. There she blows. That do be her. Wow, we kind of got an incredible spot here. That is so stinking cool.
Well, Tom and Shelby had to drop the dogs off, so I got a little bit of a jump on them. They're supposed to be here in no less than an hour. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get camp ready, put some socks on, get some good shoes on, and yeah, just get it as ready as possible for when they get here so we can probably just rig up and go catch some dang fish. Hopefully. We got plenty of daylight, literally the only people here as of right now. And I don't know, it's exciting. It's one of those cool things where it's like, oh my gosh, no one else is here. Hopefully it's worth the drive. Yeah. Let's get suited up and get going. First thing on the agenda was to clear out the area around the fire pit. Last year's needles still cover the ground like a shag carpet, and we don't need any stray sparks starting up a forest fire. And because the fire pit wasn't exactly the greatest, it was time to play some more Minecraft and gather up the surrounding rocks to make things a bit safer for a larger fire. As I started restacking my big pile of rocks, I heard some gravel popping off in the distance, and it sounded like Tom and Shelby had made it.
It's alright, don't listen.
Seriously?
Yeah!
The best campsite in all of Arizona, and that's what you gotta say?
Let me show you where your damn pin was.
Listen, lady, I know where my fucking pin was. It's called Follow the Hill.
No, that's
It's a
much
glory.
better.
Did you hear the beep beep down there?
I heard an engine, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I was playing Minecraft, and I was like, this is gonna be a sick campsite. I think somebody's coming though.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you guys said 2.
I don't think the clock identified.
One of your guys' rods is getting a big old dragon.
I didn't touch any of that like I said I was going to.
Oh man, I could have done that last time we were watching hockey.
I know. I tried to nap for a little while. It didn't work.
What are you napping for? There's excitement. There's adventure.
I have this corner. You need the other corner.
I think stack would be the cutest Christmas card, but logistically, triangle might be better. It's definitely a more defendable position. We could circle the wagons up.
So, which one do you want?
Tom, you want to weigh in on this one?
Tom, you want a stack? You want a triangle?
Trying to tell me you play Fortnite, but not Minecraft.
Alright, so whoever gets this one gets to make theirs higher if they want it because I'm too.
Yeah, we'll angle down. Like one of the comics was his dad was talking about.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying about the room there.
Yes,
I got
Ow!
like I said, I got 2 extra pair.
This is what happens when
This is what I needed. This is nice.
packed everything else.
It looks pretty comfy. But definitely keep your eyes and ears open for any rattler boys.
Yeah. I swear, if we kill a mountain lion, I'm
Yeah. We'll have like at least 3 sweet angles of self-defense so that the game warden can be like, all right, yeah, have it, whatever, guys. Yeah, because I was up on that cliff when I first got here looking down, I thought, it doesn't look great. Then I came over here and kind of saw this. I was like,
wait, you swung far side?
so I was up on that cliff right there. So like looking down that way, it looked nasty, but then kind of seeing how it, when I went over and then see how it tiered down, it's like, okay. And then literally right now, it's like, okay, yeah, this ain't too bad. freaking campsite all the way back.
No, but I'll send
You said what? You're not going to No, this is, in all reality, this is not that bad.
No, it could be much worse. But going back is
So if we were to keep going that way, maybe another 2 or 3 river miles, that's the reservation. So there's a line there where...
Is it like a hard fence? Have you been down there?
No, I doubt it's a hard fence, but
Because I know our reservation has hard fences, like even through the woods.
I'd be, with the way this floods, I would be so surprised because it blows. It
I'm
blows
sure
out.
it blows completely out, up to...
But just for reference, that we're kind of in this weird middle zone because the main axis that I fish is up there.
Yeah.
The boundary for
Was
the
it at
res
the
is right
bridge?
there. Yep.
Roughly where you fished last time?
But I went upstream and didn't make it that far. So that's what I'm
you
saying.
started at Wildcat Bridge,
Right.
Okay.
We've got this really nice cushion between
That's
us
the bridge I pointed out
and
to you.
between us on that end. So this is, now again, I'm not making any promises, but this is kind of ideal for,
Looks like fish land.
yes.
I think we can all agree that fish are never a guarantee, but the more variables you can take out of the equation, the better chance you have at actually catching them. But with a very popular weekend for folks to get out and about, this could be the distance needed to avoid those overwhelming crowds, which makes it tough for fishing. So with no more time to waste, we got down to the water and started fishing. Tom was up first, and I did my best to offer up the best advice I could on how to fish this kind of water.
Hi. And bring it over towards me, so, yep. And then roll cast it out.
Roll cast it out.
Out, yep. Perfect, okay? Now get 2 hands on it and start stripping. Get that trigger finger. Fast, super fast. Boom. Fast. Yep. Okay, now just kind of pull your rod. Don't strip anymore, just pull your rod. Perfect, okay. Now start whipping it out there again. Letting a little bit of line out. Using the water will grab it, so use the physics of the water itself. And if you can, this next cast, get it just a little bit further, the angle that you had the other time, so get it just a little bit down. Did you feel something?
Yeah, I felt the bump. Could have been a rock.
Ooh. Perfect, okay. Give me like a 4 count before you start stripping. Okay, now we're really strip fast. Really want to move water with that. Move fast. Yep, kind of just pull it. Because they will chase it all the way to the bank. Okay, yeah. Keep letting it rip.
Pretty perplexed, there was nothing in this run willing to come out and eat. I decided to run back over where Tom was fishing and got hit with a very pleasant surprise.
Oh my gosh, achievement unlocked. Hit it like a damn horse. Oh, that's so cool.
What was that?
It's a smallmouth.
Really?
Smallmouth, yeah. So the lower sections here, this is like the best smallmouth fishing in the state, if you can believe that.
Yeah, smallmouth on a fly, huh?
And he absolutely choked it. Oh.
I feel like smallmouth are pretty good fighters, honestly.
Pound for pound, they say that it's some of the best,
Yeah.
like in the league.
Came to the desert for big brown trout, but we found some smallmouth instead. This section of the river is pretty neat because it actually does have a really healthy population of these little invasive bass, but man, they absolutely crush the fly, and I'm kind of stoked on that. So I'm gonna let him back and we're gonna keep moving upstream. Day 1 has just started, but started with a bang. All right, let him do his thing.
See you later.
At times it can seem like there's an overabundance of crawfish in this system, and I'm happy to see that my very buggy streamer was able to trick one of the resident smallmouth. I say resident, but this black bass species is not native to the region. If you're looking for a fish to take and eat, small jaws might be your huckleberry, and word on the stream is that they are quite tasty. With our afternoon now turning into evening rather fast, we didn't have much more time to push upstream. This short outing was just a good opportunity for Tom and Shelby to shake off the cobwebs a bit and get comfortable with this new watershed.
All I want upstream to this one to go, and so that we can get it across to the other side. But it's almost like that is one singular cast. Like there's no real like start. There we go. Lift it up. Maybe give it a little bit of weight. Lift that rod, load back up again. Pause. Okay, we're getting there.
We had a few more opportunities, but these canyon fish were mostly eluding us.
And I think you could really take advantage of that.
I think so too.
Yeah, so I was just ripping this massive hog.
Yeah, this full horseshoe.
All right, you've hit it twice. Take some steps over to your left, left.
Your left.
You want to be going this way.
Or our left.
That's a fish. That's a fish. That's a fish. Oh no!
Thomas.
That was it. I was ready to do me a dolphin dive in there and get it, bud.
It's unfortunate we couldn't find any more fish on the day, but we would quickly forget about that slight sucking in favor of the vertical hell we were about to have to climb back up. This angle was more than doable going down, but my goodness gracious, it sure was a bear to go back up. Not impossible, just a whole lot of suck. We may have had to take a couple breathers along the way, but we eventually made it back up and over this gnarly hill and into camp. Dragging our lifeless husks back towards the trucks, we were all a bit gassed and ready for a proper dinner. As that sweltering spring sun started to sneak over the opposite side of the canyon, we all got to cooking our respective meals for the night. Trying to thin out some of the less desired backcountry meals in my arsenal, I could only cross my fingers and hope the mountain house in front of me would only slightly wreck my guts. Seriously, this thing was so old, the expiration date was coming up. Tom and Shelby, they had it a bit better with a couple PBJs and a peak meal or two to quell their stomach pangs. But now with full bellies and a warm fire to rest our legs by, our evening was coming to a close quite fast. It'd been a good day, granted, just getting out here was the goal, and getting on the water, that was more so the bonus. But with the upstream portion being rather unimpressive, we all agreed that downstream ought to be the play for tomorrow. The fire started dimming down, and we were all ready to hit the hay. This crew, we needed all the rest we could get for the next few days. Even though the bright sun was shining down on our camp, it would be quite a while before any of that light would hit the water deep down in the canyon, so our morning, it was remarkably slow. I decided it would be a good idea to make a small fire, and Tom decided it'd be a good idea to burn holes in Shelby's socks. Being the neutral third party in the situation, I couldn't help but laugh my ass off as Shelby read Tom the riot act. After Shelby's wrath died down a bit and we were all warmed up, I stirred out the sock-killing flames and we hit the hill. Letting gravity do most of the work, we flew down to the river under the shroud of the canyon shadow. Feeling the temperature shift brought on by the absent light, I was worried the fish still wouldn't be moving much. Lo and behold, my hunch had some sort of merit because we didn't receive so much as a sniff for the better part of an hour on some very productive looking water. Eventually, the light peaked over and began to illuminate the surroundings. The smell of warm pine filled the breeze while the resident reptiles made their way to warming rocks. I had a hunch the fish ought to follow suit soon enough, so we all kept at it and kept casting.
Set.
Yeah, baby.
Set. Keep that rod high. Keep the rod high. Keep the rod high.
Let's go, Shep.
Oh, yeah.
And then a little bit.
Nice. Yes. Skunk is off. Let's go, Shep.
Beautiful little brown.
The Meg.
Hell yeah. Can I get some fishy ducks for that all around the town?
Go. That was awesome.
This lady's out here 2 for 2.
There's like the fighter too.
Keep the rod high. Keep the rod high. That must be a rainbow.
Oh, no. No.
Horse him. That's heavy tippet. Horse him. Horse him.
He's on the tree.
Is he stuck?
Yeah, he's on the tree.
Tom, you hold the rod. You get the net.
Speed. Speed will solve this.
Got him?
Yep.
Nice.
No!
Here you go. Here you go.
What the?
That's fishy.
I was going to reset! Hi, Mr. Guy. I guess someone else could have it.
The switch had been flipped and Shelby put on a small clinic at this run. With the skunk out and the spirits up, it was time for Tom to get on some of the morning action as well.
Don't go any further out than that. Go up with it, or upstream with it. Yep. Keep that rod high, keep the rod high. It's a great fish, man.
Yeah! Oh, that orange tip on his fin is so nice. Look at that. All right, man.
Oh, dude.
Let's see him back.
Whoa! From everything I've heard and read, that rainbow was an excellent specimen for this system. After it slipped back, we could all feel the afternoon sun rolling in rather fast, so we hoofed it downstream in order to reach some of the better looking water the map seemed to be hiding. After a quick bit of hydration and a few minutes of drying out the raisiny feet, this crew was prepped and ready for an all-out afternoon. I have to say, this is the kind of fishing I expected in this system.
That's about what happened. I just let it flow.
Catching it. I think that might be a little small jaw. There we go. A little bronze bass for you, buddy.
Yeah, look at
There you go. See ya. Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
It's truly amazing how fast a day can slip away when you're actually catching fish. We all managed to find more than a few beautiful Arizona trout, and as we prepped for the hike back, spirits were riding high. As we expected, the day had warmed up considerably, and Tom and I both agreed it would be a phenomenal idea to jump in and enjoy this swimming hole.
Was it worth it?
I'll be here all day, all night.
Alright, if Tom's gonna do some shenanigans.
Well, you already know he's the master of shenanigans.
He is the master of shenanigans.
I'll sit here and watch him all day.
Oh my god, this actually feels so good. Why don't we fish like this? I feel like it'd be more effective.
Jeff, throw a hook in here, all right? I'll pretend to be a huge fish.
Oh my god, we got him!
Look at this. Look at this.
That was so much fun.
I know. It's not too cold. It's not too cold out in the air. It's not too cold in the water.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're riding that perfect line. If it was any colder one way or the other, it'd be like, ooh.
With the fun now over, it was time to suffer. The camera will never truly be able to capture up the pure amount of suck this hill brought to the table, and it's a bit of a stretch to call it just a quote-unquote hill. I've met a lot of nice hills. This was not one of them. With the intense angles, loose soil, and thorny underbrush, everything in this canyon did its best to drag you back down to the water. Jelly-legged, we all managed to make it back up and over the edge, and once again, we needed to attend to our empty stomachs.
I feel like we didn't go as far sideways. We maintained a good lateral.
Yeah, the deviation, that was on my behalf. I deviated.
Taco, please.
So while clothes dried and electronics got recharged, Tom and Shelby got to making a little bit of breakfast for dinner while I was again on that freeze-dried grind. The sun set over the pines and we all munched down in pure bliss. With Jack's influence from earlier in the trip, I had to dig into my stash of marshmallows and satisfy my sweet tooth with a few golden nuggets slowly rotated over the fire. Today had been just about perfect, and other than scaling down that hill again, we were all eager to see what tomorrow had in store. Another front seat slumber was followed by a much needed fire. The morning glory was pouring in yet again, but the chill of the night was still ever present. Getting our gear to fully dry out after being sweaty and waterlogged all day was no easy task. But going on day 3, we were all used to slipping on damp waiting accessories and just cringing through the cold discomfort. Ready as we'll ever be for the last time we made our way down this forsaken hill.
What's that?
We had a really good pass down, and somehow we did not like it.
Right. I think we hit it really well right there. It's just getting down there's the problem. Let's see how messy these are.
I feel like we gotta pull something out of this pool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I have 3 T's in my life. Tom, Tavy, Tim.
And trout. Don't forget trout.
Oh, you're right, 4.
Make it 4. Check the line on that one. If there's any nicks, if there's anything feeling strange, any kinks, we oughta make sure we change that before we start ripping. I'm gonna go fish the top. If someone wants to fish the middle here, and then if someone wants to fish the back, we can do that too.
As we all began to disperse, I opted to make the early morning river crossing to the far side and fish that back eddy at the end of this big rock pool. As I finally made my way around the other side, I was met with the rather unsettling sound of something big moving fast through the underbrush. And, well, I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing in front of me.
Holy shit. Holy shit. That was a mountain lion.
Help us on the way, dear.
Yeah, we could probably find a way to go up and stuff.
Well, you see how the trees line that little crack to the right behind the willow, the big willow?
Yeah.
I think he's up in there.
This little valley.
Because that's where he took a left up on the other side of the rock.
Oh, you saw him over here?
No, I saw him behind the tree take a left.
Whew. Did you guys see it at all?
Yeah, I tried to record it, but I don't know that I got anything.
How nuts is that? That's my first one.
How close was he?
I heard some rustling as I was crossing, and once I got over there, like from where that log is, maybe about like 10 yards, 15 yards up, that's when I saw her shoot across.
Was it a girl?
I don't know. But then it came back, because I think it canyons out right there. So she spooked out and then went over again. That's spooky stuff.
Later that night, Shelby drew up a lovely play-by-play for her dad to show him exactly what happened. And as you can see, I was just a touch too close for that cat, and it bolted once I reached the other side. It then seemed to canyon out off to the left, which required the cat to bound back across our line of sight as a beeline for the group of trees and potentially up and out of this section of canyon. Even though that sighting left us all a bit shook up, we weren't about to let that stop our morning on the water.
All right, well, we didn't get skunked.
Beautiful. Let me know when you got some.
Yep.
Good. All right, I'm gonna drop the net. Let him go right here. Thanks, friendo.
Cast over to your left into that current and really just rip it through. That's a fish?
Yeah.
How's he feel? He's fighting like he's decent.
It didn't take it very hard, but now it is.
All right, buddy. Okay, fine.
Oh, he said, yeah, I'm fine.
I was gonna give you a break.
Good stuff.
What transpired yesterday compared to the fishing today could not be any more night and day different. We're using the same tactics and fishing very similar water, but for whatever reason, upstream was not working out. As our hopes were beginning to fade, Shelby managed to find herself a pretty feisty rainbow, which was a cherry on top. But outside of those two fish, we didn't sniff another bite the entire session. We noticed fish activity was much lower, and the numbers of anglers present had risen drastically. As we were making our way back up, we must have passed 4 different parties of anglers making their way downstream from the bridge access point. I got that feeling in my gut that something needed to change, so I piped up and offered up a plan B for the group.
I would hate to use desperate, but you know, options are starting to run thin. This is what I was half expecting, you know, with people getting here and making it a little bit more crowded.
Tom, we're stopped.
If we were to bail right at this second, we could get out, get to Alpine, potentially have a diner open, be able to sit down, kind of plan. Because any later, I think, I don't know. I'm feeling like we won't have the motivation to bump down some 2-track, sit on a dirt road for an hour, and then get to service 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
Well, it is 10:30. It's gonna take us an hour out.
At least.
So 2, call it 2. It's gonna take us about an hour to Alpine. How opposed to an afternoon, evening lake? Because then I'm sure there's a campground like dispersed camping, super easy to get to from Alpine. Honestly, how do you feel about staying here?
Not great. I mean, fishing the rest of the day I think would be a wash. I mean, we've caught 2 and it's been tough for the first 3 hours. And now we've seen
6, 7 people.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There was 4 dudes that left there, and that guy. That's 4 there. The 5th.
Oh shit.
6th. Yeah, dude. There was.
I didn't see those 4 guys.
Yeah, you guys were facing this way. There was like 3 dudes that walked out, and then that other guy walked out. I was like, what the fuck?
Holy smokes, clown car. Yeah, then I say we get the, because if they've come this far down, you know,
That's pretty far.
Already fished like.
What is that, 4 or 5 miles?
One buddy came from up there. Another buddy, well, I don't know about the dog guy. I bet he came from the bridge.
I mean, I think it's still.
But that's probably 3 or 4
still
miles.
Still fished out wherever we go, but
right.
I'm fine with just changing it.
But
up
also,
and
like a
seeing
lake
something
is
else,
not
too.
like you don't have to like fight. I feel like.
No, it's just like find a spot and sit.
Yeah, because like here you don't want to be on top of them
Sure.
within
let's go.
a couple hundred yards.
Let's just go. Let's do something else.
So, leave, Alpine, game plan, lake being spot 1, Gila being spot 2.
Find a campground.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
Or find a clearing.
Even though this trip had been a somewhat last-minute switch-up, I could not have been more happy with how it turned out. Holiday weekend and all, we'd managed to escape the crowds for a few days and find some really great fish. Add in a mountain lion sighting, a couple river baths, and of course, endless jeers around that fire pit, and this was just about perfect. Well, perfect except for that hill, and I'm speaking on behalf of Shelby on that because her hate for this hill is almost immeasurable. Begrudgingly, I have to agree that this wasn't exactly my best plan, but in all fairness, access down in order to get to these fish and avoid the other anglers was almost a necessary evil. So as we all successfully scaled this beast one last time, we gathered all our belongings and unceremoniously threw them into the back of our respective vehicles to be dealt with at a later juncture. For now, it was time to bid our fantastic camp farewell and hit the road. Now, for continuity purposes, I figured I would leave the rest of this in, even though we didn't really have much luck at our plan B. It was a lovely little tailwater, and for the most part, it looked fishy. Granted, the flows were moving quite fast, and the overall holding water wasn't exactly anything amazing. But despite this, it was still fishy. We pushed our luck well towards the evening, trying to muster up any sort of redeeming bite, and quite literally, on my last hole, I managed to trick a wild rainbow with a black streamer to finish out the day. With Tom and Shelby back at the parking lot, organizing their messy vehicle, I needed to hoof it back and do the same. In the moment, it's hard to fully realize it, but my God, this had been an incredible month in Arizona.
Well, folks, if you are seeing this, then that means the video is over. The last southwest sunset is slowly making its way to the other side, and all I have to say, like always, is thank you. Thank you so very much for sitting through and watching this video all the way through the end. it means the world to me that you guys like these videos, that you can relate and share these with your friends and kind of the similar experiences that my friends and I go through. I don't know, it's really cool. For me, it's about capturing these memories, but I'm so happy that there's folks out there who can, laugh along, enjoy it, and maybe learn a thing or two along the way. But folks, before I skedaddle, I just have to make a couple of thank yous, as always. Thank you to all the brands that support Fly All Season. Of course, I'd be doing this without them, but with them, it really helps as far as the gear, the information, all that. It's really great. So if you have any questions about what I'm using, how I'm using, check out the description. I keep them all down there. Discount codes too for the gear that I use. All great brands, all great people. You know who you are. Thank you so very much. Going off of that, the Patreon folk, thank you so much. Again, it's amazing to me that there's people out there who are willing to, send out a little bit of their hard-earned money to help make something like this happen. Because it's a lot of work, logistics and gas and gear. I mean, it gets expensive. So just know all of your very generous offerings are being used to its fullest to bring you more stuff like this. So folks, that is quite enough for me. I gotta book it before I'm hiking out in the dark. So wherever you find yourself, be it in the beautiful Southwest or in your backyard, make sure to keep those feet in the water. Until next time, tight lines.
We were ghosts with arms open wide, but we floated away. A strange distant sea. Well, heaven blew the silver moon, made the ocean safe. I thought that I would feel brand new, but trouble's on the way. And I know that there's a solitary life that's filled with peace, and sometimes a man just needs